Thank you. Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Ian Mann, and I'm joined on the panel today with Mr. Clay Purvis and Mr. Kevin Stephenson. Our assessor today is Mr. Arif Dus Mohammed, and the secretary today is Mrs. Crystal Harlan. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted to the meeting. Kindly follow along the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing is concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment role in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to a tax or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the hearing. We will then have the testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may The process will repeat each item on the docket today, and the session will close after all the applications have been heard. The board will then deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 1 through 3 and number 10 on our docket today. Mrs. Harlan, will you please affirm the assessors and first applicant's testimony?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Assessor, would you please state your full name?
Arif Dus Mohammed.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Neufeld, would you please state your full name?
Eric Neufeld.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll put Mr. Story in the waiting room now, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Then if we can please turn to number 1 on the docket, that's street at 472 Dufferin. And Mr. Dus Mohammed, if you could please introduce the property and provide your evidence.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Board of Revision file number 24-5125. Roll year 2025, address is 475 Dufferin Avenue. Business assessment ID is 19394. So the subject has a premise area of 14,797 square feet. We utilize a base net rent of $6.55 per square foot. This equates to a base ARV of $96,920. We calculate occupancy cost to be $37,715 for a total ARV of $134,640. And there's my comparables at the bottom. So the comparables are located in the same market region as the subject, market region 6, with comparables 1 and 2 being in the immediate vicinity of the subject. We're classifying the subject as storage warehouse, but in actuality, the subject is utilized by a fishmonger for food processing, packaging, and distribution operation. On page 2 is the map of the subject and the comparables.
Can we just mute the people that aren't talking? Because there's a little bit of reverb. So whoever's
Oh.
Mr. Newfield can mute, and
Is that me?
I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys are hearing the reverb, but
Oh, I see it. It is me.
On page 3 is the industrial market regions that we utilize. And then on page 4 is the overhead shots of the subject property. Same with top of page 5. At the bottom of page 5 is the street views. Same with page 6. Page 7 is something I got off the applicant's website. So you'll note that again, they're a fishmonger. The last paragraph there, they are utilizing the property as a food distribution wholesale operation. Right down at the bottom, it says they get a variety of fish from different areas of the world. Top of page 8, again, indicating that they're a fishmonger. At the bottom of the page 8, you'll note that they supply fish products to restaurants and all types of hotels and institutions. On top of page 9, they are indicating that they are a federally regulated operation. They're registered with the Canada Food Inspection Agency. They've implemented a quality management program. This program allows them to import and export products from anywhere around the world. So they are held to a higher standard and regulations. And then on page 10, I just have some excerpts from the program that they are part of. On page 11, just some blurbs there. The program is internationally recognized. It's in compliance. So before they get compliance or they get issued a certificate, there is an audit conducted on the property. So they are verified before they get the certificate. Page 12. Just some steps on what it takes to get qualified, along with pages 12 to 18, 14. Now, I have included a supplemental that includes the whole program guide, and I'm not going to go through that. If you wish, you could read through that. It's just a very detailed, highly regulated industry that they are in, and they are meant to have some quality standards and regulations. Page 15 is just some pictures of the comparables. Now, none of these comparables are food related. They are just storage warehouses. Page 16 at the bottom, that comparable 983 Waltz Street. I don't believe that's a great comparable. That's actually a garage auto body shop. But I put it in there because it is a storage warehouse. Same with 17, there's more comparables. Page 18 is it's not really a comparable, but I've utilized this just to show that cold storage leases in the city, when they are available, mostly they're usually owner occupied, but when they are available, they're in high demand. This was a property I inspected last summer. And they store food in refrigerated areas. You'll notice that for 2,000 square foot, they're charging a monthly lease of $2,500, which works out to about $15 per square foot, triple net. Again, it's not a good comparable. I've just put it in there to indicate that when there is available space for storage, cold storage, it does demand a high net rent. That being said, and for the reasons above, I respectfully ask for confirmation of our ARB, and with that, I'm open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dustman. Mr. Newfield, questions?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Dusmama, did you review the realty decision on this property?
I did, yes.
And is there a reason you're not following through with that
I
one?
didn't I didn't feel for a storage warehouse that rent would have been ideal. I know you worked it out in your brief. We're not that far apart, but again, as for a storage warehouse, I thought we were pretty good with our rent.
Did you appeal that decision?
I'm not sure if it's been appealed or not.
What year was the subject built initially?
I do not know.
Would
I didn't
you
take the realty
disagree?
to the board.
Would you disagree with the main portion of it was built in 1920?
If that's what it is, that's what it is.
Is Dufferin a high value, sought after location?
Well, if you look at my two comparables, comparable 1 and 2, the rent is in line with, actually, it's a higher rent than what we've charged.
Are
They're
those in
in
the
immediate
same
vicinity of
market?
the subject property.
Okay, so going through your comparables, let me just pull it back up there. 944 Henry is that's looks newer construction to me, and that would you disagree that has a much
Sorry,
higher
I'm
value?
having a hard time hearing you.
Am I cutting out or is it
I know you're just a little quiet there.
okay? 944 Henry.
Mhm.
And from the Google Street View, it appears newer. I don't have the age, but you would agree that the land to building ratio is much higher in that subject, right? Than our
Yes,
subject.
yes, that's fair.
Do you have the age on that one?
Pardon me?
Do you have the age on that one?
No, I don't. We're just comparing leasable areas. We're not comparing the building.
So you're not considering the building quality in your assessment?
We're no, as I said before, these are all storage warehouses where the subject is a food processing plant.
Okay. Um, I'm trying. I'm not sure I follow the argument with bringing in their standards. Is what does the standards that they have to follow in terms of cleanliness and food handling have to do with the quality of a 1920s building?
Well, I'm sure they're held to a higher quality of standards. They are processing food there. There's got to be, pest control. There's got to be paint is an issue with food processing. Uh, Mostly stainless steel equipment, I would imagine. So the
Okay.
cleanliness
So
has to be, taken into
does
account.
equipment used for the business and proper pest control have any bearing on the value of the building?
We're not talking about value of the building. We're talking about rent on the premise.
How
So,
is that? How do those differ?
well, the rent is what is charged for the premise. The value of the building, it's based on rent, but there's also cap rates, etc.
I'm
Vacancy, there's the
sure, but we're
costs.
talking about the main component of the valuation of a building, which is the rent, and then we're using that.
No, I don't
business.
agree with that. Cap rate is a component also, and it could be a major component.
Okay, well then one of the two main components. So it is still valuing the rental value of this building. Do you think pest control and the equipment being stainless steel and them having cleanliness standards?
I believe the premise is a well-maintained premise, and as such, it probably commands a higher rent in the market.
870 Bradford, this cold storage lease. Do you know the age of that building?
I believe it's 50s or 60s building.
That's high are the ceilings.
It does have high ceilings in the refrigerated area. In the office, it's lower ceilings.
Higher ceilings in the subject. Is that fair to say?
I haven't inspected the subject, but I do look when I look at the pictures, I do see that there are two levels there.
So it would stand to reason that a higher ceiling cold storage in a refrigerator would probably be able to store more product in it then. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say.
Do you I'm assuming you've reviewed the backwards calculation. Does that
I
appear
reviewed your yes, you have it in
and
your.
aside from whether you disagree or agree aside, but do you disagree with the way that was calculated? Does that seem reasonable to what the order was decided at 525?
I don't agree with the order, but the way you've calculated using the order, I don't see any issue with it. You've just worked it back.
Okay, those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stephenson, questions?
No questions at this time, thank you.
Mr. Purvis, any questions?
Sorry, I don't have any questions.
Mr. Das Mohammed, you indicated that you have not inspected this warehouse or this premises, subject property.
Personally, no, I have not.
Okay. I'm curious, the evidence you brought in with respect to the use of the property as a food processing plant
Right.
would indicate to me that the entire area should be air conditioned, yet you've got the air conditioning at about, 60% of the occupancy costs. Is there a reason for that, or is that just the model?
That was in the parameters, so I'm assuming whoever inspected it at one time is what they noticed or saw.
Okay. And when was that? Do you know?
No, I do not. The other thing is, I'm not sure if we would consider a freezer space air conditioned. I think it would just be considered freezer space.
Okay. And the evidence you brought in about the certification and the Canada Food Inspection Agency, how often is this premises or is this subject property evaluated or tested under the Canada Food Inspection Agency? Do you know?
I'm not sure if it's annually, but I know when they were applying for the compliance, they would have been inspected.
Okay.
It does not say if they are inspected every year or not, but I'm assuming for food inspections, I know they do spot checks every once in a while.
Okay. But you don't know when they would have inspected?
No, I do not know.
On this. Okay, thank you. I don't have anything further. Mr. Neufeld, your evidence, please.
Thank you. Essentially, we have here is a 1920 building in a poor area. It's a working area. There's a lot of owner occupants in the area that have generally been for businesses like this that have been there forever. There isn't a great rental market in it. This is Dufferin. It's not something that has been developed or redeveloped in any capacity. Most of these buildings are in the area are generally much older and tired. We've got a retail component that has been shut down since COVID at the front. They're basically using that as storage now as they sell, unless they've opened it back up. I went in 23 or 22, probably when the professors mentioned that it was inspected, would have been with myself. I don't have the date, but they did close down that retail portion, which on my page 4, you can see that was the former entrance, because they mostly just they supply local retailers now, people like Gimli Fish and other grocers. If you look at my page 4, I don't have the exact ages of what was what, but a large portion of that you can see is built in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sections. There is, I think I apologize too, I should have more pictures, but there is sort of almost like a maze walking through there. It's not the most congruent, well open area. It's, it works for them. They have different sections where they would fillet and gut and then clean and all the different portions. And they sort of have like almost a factory floor where it moves, but it's not conducive to the normal higher warehouse spaces that would have a large clear span, like what we've been looking for. The rents, the rent was applied on my page 2. You can see my backwards calculation. Again, this is not an exact science because it is a little tricky to get these numbers exactly right, but we use the city parameters, the applied cap rate, and I got my net rent as close as I could to match the NOI. I think there's no reason why this shouldn't flow through from realty to business. We did not appeal that decision. We were happy with it, and I would ask that the board consider it again for the business tax. The leases that the city provided are, some of them are somewhat comparable, but again, most of them have better land areas. And looking through his pictures, you can see 1,000 Alexander is a one larger warehouse in one spot, not this like hodgepodge thing them through the years. The same with 944 Henry, which has a lot better land area. 877 Wall, it's similar in that it's built in sections, but they're not tiny small sections that are added in to the fact those were built and are open with a better floor plate than the subject. I'm not sure about this Bradford rent. I would imagine it would be much higher quality cold storage. We did have one, but it was mostly just unheated storage, not exactly cold storage. So I noticed it. I didn't include it. But that being said, I'm really just asking that we apply the same rent that was applied by the first rental for this property and use it for business as well. Thank you. For a total of 115,400. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neufeld. Mr. Dus Mohammed, questions? Sorry,
Yes, thank you. Sorry. Mr. Neufeld, is it fair to say that you are not relying on any of the comparables you provided? You were just following through with the board order that was
Absolutely not. I'm relying on all my comparables. I just didn't
Okay.
spend as much time on them because it's kind of been decided. But if you want to look through them, I guess I don't hate the 393 Dawson. It would be a little bit better of a work a little less of a
Okay,
I don't know how
so
best to describe it.
which sorry, which one?
393 Dawson.
number 5.
Yeah, I guess any number. The 7th entry, the 5th building. Am I looking at the right one here? These same. It's trickier to find comps like this. That goes without saying. I think it's not. You almost need to find all the sections for separate rents because while they do work together, they would have that smaller benefit or that disadvantage of being less coherent than a large open warehouse, which a lot of ours are. I think when you're looking at this, it's not it's not wrong to compare it to these smaller ones on the line. Cree being better size, closer, but the one on Aaron would be somewhat similar to portions of this building. And again, if you're looking at you're going exactly by the square footage, you need to find things that are built in stages like the subject, and that's really hard. So when you're using just open warehouse, but with a clear span of 15,000, it's much more superior than something which 5, 6, 7 sections of a total of 15,000. So using the Mountain View and Aaron's are not unreasonable. Or the Mountain Views that's brand new, right? But I meant for the size. They're not brand new, much newer. Yeah, I really think all my comparables would be better than the subject.
Okay, and are these rents recent or are they up to date?
Some of them are older, yeah, no, but some of them are updated as we go along.
So
we don't always delete rents that when they're not updated, and that's unfortunate. We have a lot of data, but it's not always.
So these rents could be older rents.
Sorry?
These rents could be older rents.
Well, no, I mean you got occupancy dates on all of them. 1041 Aaron is not uncomparable. I think if you looked at the same, if you made an economies of scale adjustment as a double the size, it would be somewhat of a similar subject. Or somewhat of a similar building, and we'd get it from 6 to 525. That was occupancy in March 21. It's an older building with one loading dock on Aaron.
Okay, and these comparables, would you say you've utilized these comparables on the other brief also, the same ones?
Again, yes, but we don't always apply the logic directly. It's when we're doing 600 or so properties throughout the year. We found with industrial, it's a lot easier to kind of put everything together, and then when you're going through pulling some out. Oh, and I see number 5, what you've got. I was looking at Dawson on my second table, which is again there in number 7. But yes, number 5, Dawson is not a poor comparable. Again, it is a bit older, so that's trouble, but it would still be occupied in that lease in April 23.
So, well, let's just say Dawson there, 393 Dawson. You have 2 different rents? Or are they?
No, it's just applied twice. It's in 2 tables. Yeah, these aren't the cleanest tables. I will say that. It's I generally am doing a lot of this, and what's happening is I'm putting all these briefs out, and by the time at the end of the day, when I've got all the briefs created, and this is again copy from Realty when we're doing about 15 a day on average, there's not enough time to clean these up, and it's the end of the day, and I've been working on them all day, so it's very hard to find the patience and the time to go through these, and that's unfortunate. I do wish that this was cleaner.
Okay,
But
so
and again, when I mentioned the newer rates that are applicable, they're on my page 6. And those are that 1041 area. That first one I think is fair, smaller and similar low quality, but not built in stages like the subject.
it's fair to say that you have a table or a couple of tables of comps, and then you put them in your briefs, and you just utilize whatever the square footage is to
Square footage and
Yeah.
condition and style. It's square footage is the first indicator, yeah, because that's what we're looking at. But then, I mean, it's a lot of these would not be comparable to this one, and then in the next brief, a lot of them is the same, but it's just a different argument with the different.
those are all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Purvis, questions?
Just for a bit of clarification on the comps, we've got the table on page 5, which is industrial rental rates. And on page 6, there's small industrial rental rates. Then there's an industrial rental, another column.
The second, sorry.
Which one are we primarily looking at?
I would say primarily the second of the 3, and then also the first one. The third one, the real problem with these is they're so old, but they are somewhat of a similar. Like these are a lot of them portions of flex warehouses, buildings on Sutherland, Barrie, and they're kind of ones that we've collected through the years that are astronomically low, and they do apply to a lot of things, and actually wouldn't be inapplicable to the subject being the 1920. But again, they're not updated as much as we like, because that's a bit tricky with these ones. And a lot of them actually too are from city briefs, so we kind of collect them over the years, and it's not. Obviously, it would be better to bring you 10 undated rents, but it's more or less to show that it is possible that there actually are things being rented for $250. If it was rented, one of them there, 312 William, $1.11. That's COW, means it comes from a city brief. Again, not in our reference period, but I think it's fair to assume that it's not going from $1.11 to $12 or even $7 or $5. The idea being that we're showing that there are still rents out there that exist or have existed or likely continue to exist that are really, really, really low. But again, not the most aggressive for today.
Okay, and then in that small industrial rental rates table, I know you addressed the 393 Dawson that's in here twice, because that's one of the properties you'd flagged as sort of being a fairly decent comp. Which one's the accurate one, the first one or the second one? Because they're different rent rates, they're different.
Well, they're both 490, aren't they? Yeah, 1100 square. They're just duplicated, unless I'm reading it.
I'm looking at one that says 595 is the rate, and then the higher one says 490 is the rate.
So number in the first table, number 5.
Middle table, the small industrial rates.
Yeah.
So 393 Dawson is first comes up just under
Oh.
Myrtle.
Oh,
And
I
it
see.
comes-
Sorry. That was a 1-year lease prior. So okay. It's
Okay.
if you look too higher there,
The
that's
higher
again
one's the one that we're
signed then for 5 years. So
okay.
when a lease is signed for 1 year, it's very typical for it to be higher than the market because you rather not a discount. The typical lease is 5 years, so that's the best indication of market value. If you want it for less time, that's a year. You're paying more for it.
Okay, so the
And
first
I
one's the one
appreciate
we should
I
look at
didn't
now.
write
Great, those are my questions. I just need to get some clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stephenson, questions?
Just a simple clarification for me. 2025 assessment year is for 2025 rents. Is that what we're trying to determine?
2023, April 2023.
23, sorry. So then out of you referenced the same chart that Mr. Purvis was looking at. Again, point out your ideal reference on 2023 and then the building size, like
So
I'm having a hard
ideal
time finding
reference, I mean,
something that comes close to that.
something active in April of 2023 is more reliable. Something created on or shortly before April 23, even better. Again, not the easiest task for shoddier buildings, lower quality buildings like as in nature. But then I think the construction area and size are the 3 big ones.
So I'm looking at page 6.
Mhm.
So like a 1-year lease on Dawson that
Yeah, so that one
that's
was
like a
honestly,
March 18. Like, why would I even consider that one?
no,
Right?
you should.
Like, and how many of those are
When I
here?
was talking about it, I meant the 2 above it there. That was November 9th, 2019, which would be active until April 2024.
And what's it?
So
Okay, so we just have that listing. We don't have any information on Dawson for comparison.
No. I mean, I can tell you it's a warehouse similar to nature, a bit better makeup. It's got front portion that's older, and then there's additions throughout the years, warehouses, but open warehouses better, and it's kind of slapped on the side of the subject. It's yeah, I mean, realistically, it would have made sense for me to bring in some pictures, at least street views of of the comps that I'm relying more heavily on.
Any other comps on page 6?
I again, I don't hate
For
Aaron,
reference?
smaller, but similar construction in a 2-year lease. If you added the portions of this building,
Yeah, because we're almost
the
what
years,
14,800, and
sorry,
we're almost at 14. We're at 14,797 square feet, and then I'm looking
yeah,
here.
no, not a perfect comp at all, but a similar, older, lower quality kind of. It's all about finding a few that kind of sort of fit it and applying. You will not find the perfect comparable for this property.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question with respect to the square footage. The total square footage is 14,797. I think everyone is at least in agreement with that. The 5,000 square feet of walk-in freezers, that's included in the 14,797, correct?
Correct.
So roughly a third of the space of this warehouse, storage area, production facility is walk-in freezers.
That would, yeah, be about accurate.
Okay. Do any of your comps have that? Do any of your comps have either A, walk-in freezers or a significant portion of it, the square footage that's walk-in freezers?
I don't think they do. That's they're typically going to be owner occupied.
Right. I mean, I'm sure that's a fairly unusual feature to have walk-in freezers that large. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, and I think that's very fair to say, and it would also likely be if you're renting, you may be even putting that in yourself, and it wouldn't be part of your rent because having a walk-in freezer for a landlord is not something they would really want to spend that money on. So the building may benefit from it, but when the tenant moves out 5 years, it might be a cost that they're stuck with, and getting 5-year lease out of it doesn't really help them recuperate that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had. Now I understand that Mr. Das Mohammed, you had filed some rebuttal. Will you be referring to it, or do you want to refer to it?
Actually, I will file that for the next property.
Okay.
It's for 110, yeah.
Then, Mr. Das Mohammed, do you have any summary with respect to this property?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Neufeld?
No, thank you.
Then, having heard the evidence, we will conclude this hearing and move on to the next item on the docket. That is at number 10 with a street address of 1611 Brookside Boulevard. Mr. Das Mohammed, if you can please lead us through your evidence and introduce the property.
Thank you very much. Board of Revision file number 24-5063. Roll year is 2025. Address is 1611 Brookside Boulevard. Business assessment ID is 50021. Premise has 5,500 square feet. We are utilizing a base rent of $9.65 per square foot. That gives us a base ARV of $53,075. We assess total occupancy costs at $14,850, and that gives us a total annual rental value of $67,920. It is owner occupied. At the bottom there are my rent comparables. Now, these comparables I have put in here, are the same rent comparables that were utilized for the realty appeal. I didn't do the realty appeal, but I've put them in there just to be consistent. On page 2 is the subject map area. It is located in the northwest quadrant of the city. On page 3 are some overhead shots of the subject property. On page 4 are street views of the property, and then down at the bottom is the comparable pictures. So there's 1344 Spruce Street. There's on the following page is 1572 Dublin Avenue. Below that is 1495 St. James. And then page 6, 396 and 398 Daly Street. Now, this comparable was utilized in the realty appeal. Had I done this realty appeal, I would not have utilized that comparable. On page 7 are the realty comparables that were utilized. Page 8 is the workup from the realty appeal. And our realty appeal, our realty assessment was based on $9.65 per square foot. And then on page 9, at the appeal, the board confirmed that value. Page 10 indicates that the board's decision was based on the evidence presented by the assessment and taxation department. So in this case, I am just following through with the board decision, and I am requesting that the board follow through also, and I respectfully ask that the board confirm our base ARV of, our total annual rental value of $67,920. With that, I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Neufeld, questions?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, which comp did you say you wouldn't have used?
Pardon me?
Which property comparable did you say you wouldn't have used?
I wouldn't have used that one in Daly. It's nowhere near the comparable, or the subject property.
Fair enough. The subject property, steel frame wood frame steel envelope. It's safe to say this is a cheap building, low quality. Would you disagree with that?
I wouldn't say it's cheap quality. If you look at the street photos of on page top of page 4, I wouldn't say that's a cheap building.
Well, I mean, it's a basic industrial building. And
it's an industrial building, yes.
Yeah, they do siding, so they put on some siding to kind of showcase their work, which is unusual. That's fair to say, but otherwise, the construction is still pretty basic, right?
Again, yes, we are comparing premises, not buildings, though. But Yeah, I don't think the building is cheap. It is an industrial building.
Your comparables on Spruce there, that's got a loading dock.
On which one, sorry? On
First
Spruce?
one.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Page 5, the next two. These are kind of more like industrial with an office component. Would you disagree? This is kind of I don't know what you exactly call it, but the front portion is office and warehousing in the back.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I believe we've used, you and I have used the same comparables.
Yeah, no, I get that. There's some relevance, but I think it's not perfect is all I'm kind of getting at, but that's fine. No, those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stephenson, questions?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Purvis, questions?
You, sorry, you didn't inspect this property, right?
No, I did not.
Okay, because I'm just looking on page 3, the overhead. Looks like there's 2 Quonset type buildings. Were they factored into any of this at all?
I don't believe so. We're just assessing the building there
Just
at
the building
the
itself.
1611.
Okay. And then going down to the comps, again, just looking for a little bit of clarification. So page 7, 1344 Spruce Street, the double entry, those aren't 2 separate. Like that's just a mistake. But it's
Actually, they are, yeah. So I did not take this to the board, but my colleague has put those in twice for some reason.
okay.
So
I know
don't
some of these
know.
industrial buildings, they're sort of like these industrial strip malls, and I didn't know if that was one where there were 2 5,500 square foot units that were, or if it was just.
No, I believe they've been entered in twice by mistake.
Okay. I didn't want to assume because there's a rhyme that goes with when you assume, so I didn't want to do that. Those are my questions about that clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't have any questions. Mr. Neufeld, please, your evidence.
Yeah. I will take you to my comparables, which I did this for this one because there wasn't a realty decision. I did actually go through my comparables and try to pick some that I felt were somewhat relevant. If you go to my page 7, this is a newer building with 3 different uses, or 3 different entries. We have about a similar land component, and they range from 7 to 950. Now, this is built in 2014, and I think the point being is that if you're looking at a 965, it's closer. You could get something closer to this. I think this would be better for higher ceiling, similar land. They've got the yard. I don't mean overhead, but a yard and working. 74 Myrtle is it's unusual, but I think it's actually quite of a good use of land because they're right on that corner there. But because if you look at the second picture on page 7, you can see that they drive in there and they have a similar size lot, and they were able to use it all quite well considering how irregular it is. So I did like that one. And then 1041 Aaron, again, this one similar sized, lower quality, but less land. So of course, we would be using something higher than 6 for the subject for that reason. The subject property, we've been through it. It's basically the cheapest style of industrial construction. It's just you get it for warehousing, working in or storing. In this case, it would be siding. The decision was to confirm it. They used a 5.35% cap on it, which is I would say quite unusual, but I still do think the rent was a fair bit higher. In the past for realty, I didn't bring the we didn't appeal business tax for this time last round, that's why. So I didn't have the information, but the realty increased by about from 478 to 914. So that we felt was a huge increase, and I think what we're seeing is closer to what it would have been previously, and the $7 is applicable. I didn't challenge the AC area. Would it be? Don't know what they have for AC. It's possible there isn't air conditioning. I'm not seeing any chillers anywhere on the roof of the sides, but again, I don't have information for that, so I'm not asking for anything, but it's just a point. But yeah, for those reasons, I think the rents are a little bit more suitable than the industrial style multi-industrial ware officing that they got. I agree with the assessor that the brew pub shouldn't be included, and I appreciate him saying that because that's far different than the subject. My request to use $7 for 53,350. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dustman, questions?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Neufeld, 106 Mountain View, you would agree that it is larger than the subject property?
There's units. The total, yes. There are units. You go to 5,000, 1, 2, and 8750. I think my point that I was kind of getting across there is that you could be getting your rent. These are basically the same amount as your rent for the two of the three, and I think you could be getting something better than that. If you're paying $950.
And I couldn't find any information on Myrtle. Is that owner occupied or it's leased out?
No, it's leased out. It's portion of it is owner occupied though. The yard and the northern portion are leased out.
And sorry, it's 1041 Aaron. I don't see it on your table. Do you know what the rent is on that?
Page 6, the first one there, $6.
Oh,
And that's
sorry.
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the one I referenced in the last property.
Those are all the questions I have. Thank you. And I would like to submit rebuttal when the board agrees.
Thank you for the heads up on that. Mr. Purvis, questions?
I don't have any questions.
Mr. Stephenson, questions?
No questions at this time, thanks.
And I don't think I've got any questions on this. Mrs. Harlan, do we have the rebuttal evidence that was submitted by Mr. Dus Mohammed?
I
Yes.
just emailed it.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Assessor. Let's see here.
I can refresh if it's going into the the OneDrive. Do you want us to refresh this, or what's the easiest way to access it?
If you can just give me a couple of moments, Mr. Chair, I
Certainly.
will put this into your OneDrive file. PMA, okay. Okay, it's for the Mr. Chair and panel members, it's called 1611 Brookside, rebuttal to applicant comps. And I will also send this to Mr. Neufeld. You can just give me a moment, please.
Oh, there it is. Okay, mine's showing up. I have it now.
And I've just emailed it to the applicant. So please let me know when you get it.
Mr. Purvis, Mr. Stephenson, do you have it on your SharePoint, your OneDrive? You do? Great. Mr. Neufeld, any
Nothing yet, no.
Nothing
Just
yet?
refresh.
I think Mrs. Harlan said she was going to email you, not just, it might not be on the SharePoint drive.
Yeah, I don't think, I never used the SharePoint in my.
Oh, okay
my
then.
tasks. I don't think that's, I think that's for you guys. But I could be wrong.
No, I emailed it to Mr. Newfield, Chair.
If it hasn't arrived yet, maybe Mrs. Harlan, you can email again. Maybe just confirm Mr. Newfeld's email address just in case it's gotten sidetracked.
I've resent it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Newfeld, it'll come from my email address, if that helps.
I've lost his camera. I'm not sure if that means his feed is out.
He might be looking, he's still with us. Let me try something else, Mr. Chair.
Well, why don't we take 5 minutes just now, and that'll give everyone a chance to review it, and Mr. Newfeld when he receives it. Can we just, it's 1:54 now, can we come back at 2 o'clock?
Yes.
Hopefully
Sounds
everyone will
good
have
to
it
me.
then. Thank you. We'll reopen the hearing, and I believe all of the rebuttal evidence, or all the panel members and the applicant have received the rebuttal evidence now. Mr. Dus Mohammed, if you could proceed, please, with your evidence.
Thank you. So yes, my rebuttal evidence, what I did was I took the applicant's table there listed as small industrial rental rates. That's the third table. And what I did was I sorted by the size. So if you look, the size goes from 1,640 square feet to 11,600 square feet. The subject is 5,500 square feet, so I took plus or minus about 2,500 square feet. That gives us comparables from 2,500 square feet to approximately 7,500 square feet. And I just did some research on those comparables, and I updated the rents. So 1681, the actual rent in place at the reference date was $8.42. The next rent was $10.52. Sorry, the next rent, there's two spaces there. There were 10, I didn't know which one that was utilized for 3,200 square feet. But there's two, there's one that's 4,000 square feet and one that's 3,200 square feet, and the rents are $10.20 and $9.38 per square foot respectively. The Bizarre Novelty is at $7. It is an older rent. They've been there for over 10 years, I believe. Applied Industrial is the next rent. They're at $7.25. The next two rents, I could not find those on the 22 INE that was submitted. So I'm not sure if those are older rents, if they've been repartitioned, or if the space has been, amalgamated. 92 Higgins, I thought that was a different market region, so I didn't even consider it. And also it is a gross lease. And then the following rents there, you'll note they're $9.50, $9.97, $9.72. There is a $6 rent, triad protection, and $9 per square foot. So there's 8 rents there that support our base ARV per square foot of $9.65. Even if you average out these rents, it works out to about $8.81. So I believe if you were to take the applicants table, update the rents, they would fall in line with our assessment. And with that, I'm open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Neufeld, questions?
Yeah, thank you. Are these face rates, or are they you actually calculating the expenses?
They're the net rents that were submitted in the income and expense mailer. So
Okay,
whatever.
well, I'm looking at 1681 Church, and we don't have this for the panel, but they have a gross rate of 193,000 and an expense rate of 131 for a total of 60,000, which is about $1.75 a foot on average. And you're saying it's 842, 1052.
Yeah, that's what
Are you-
it is on the
you-
income. Are you looking at the income statement? Income
I'm
and
looking at a mailer of, I only have as old as 29, as new as 2019, but that's when these leases were in place. So it's a net rate in the total of the building of $1.75. Are you using the gross value for 842?
No, I'm utilizing the net rent that was supplied on their income and mailer, and I could supply the income and mailers if you.
Okay, and a net rent, is it something they checked off, or did you actually go through the income
No,
and
no,
expense?
we looked at the net rent, yeah.
The net rent
It's
often
what's
is
submitted, so they would have expenses, they would have their recovery, or sorry, not their expenses, their recoveries. So we looked at that, so net rent of X dollars, recoveries of X dollars.
well, I would contend that I don't think I'm looking at about $1.80 for
Have
1681 Church.
you've seen
I
our
don't-
income and expense mailers before, correct?
I'm well aware of them, yeah. And
Okay,
we
so
often
on the
apply them.
second page, there's always the tenant roll, correct?
Right.
And on the tenant roll, it'll ask you if it's a net rent or not, and if it's not, check off these things. And if there's recoveries, if there's the 3 recoveries, those are net rents.
So if they're reporting that as a net rent, but then their expenses exceed the recovery, which is very common, would you still take it as gospel as a net rent, or would you investigate that?
We take it as their word. If they say
Okay,
it's a
so-
net rent with their recoveries, that's what we've,
If I told you that the owner of this building was a sewer cleaner and not a professional real estate for a real estate professional, would that not indicate to you that maybe these aren't the
Well, what I'm
best people?
what I'm saying is Lawrence Litho Limited, the tenant, is paying $8.42 net rent on that.
Yeah,
premise.
and again,
I
I'm
don't know
saying
what
that
the
I'd suggest
owner
that
is,
would be gross.
I don't know what the owner's expensing out or not, but this is
Well,
what
I mean,
net rent that
that's
the.
why we have the 2 pages, though, right? You have them put in their annual income, and then you break it down by tenant afterwards. But first, and then put in like I'm looking at the insurance, the property management, the sewer, all these costs, and they're netting out $61,000 in a $39,000 building. It's a 39,000 square feet building. That doesn't suggest 842, 1052 at all.
So what saying is the Lawrence Litho Limited is paying net rent, triple net rent of $8.42 per square foot.
I'm saying it's not, that they just
Okay,
checked off net lease and they didn't. And
okay, that's what you say, and this is what I could provide you with the income and expense mailers, but I think I've answered the question.
Well, I mean, again, you're completely ignoring all their expenses just because they checked off net. This is not fully recovered building. And I would suggest that whether it is very possible for the rest of them. I don't have them in front of me, but again, they do come up. I mean, 4 of the ones you have highlighted are in this building. That's netting a total NOI of 61,000 and a leasable area of 39,000.
So are you indicating that you're taking the net rent that they've applied
No.
on their income and expense, and then you're subtracting expenses, and then you're coming up with your net rent rate?
The net rents are based on the net, yes, the value that
Okay.
they actually, the
So
money that they're taking home.
your rents from July 2016 was for 5 years, but yet in their income and expense mailer, they indicate somebody moved in September 1st, 2017. So where do you get the July 16th?
Well, we didn't update those ones. Again, these are the older
So you
ones.
haven't
Not even
updated
relying
yours,
on
so-
for this subject,
so-
but
So are you
you're-
saying that you have the income and a mailer expense, the latest one you have, but you haven't updated your comps?
they're updated as they go in, and they're based on the net rent that is actually being collected, not
Okay,
based off of
So
what they
who
were
was there
trying
in
to.
2016?
Sorry,
And why is Lawrence Litho Limited in there now? Who was there in 2016? And you indicate a 5-year lease, but there's no such lease in the income and a mailer expense.
Okay, well, Mr. Das Mohammed and Mr. Neufeld, it appears
would
so
be-
you're reversing roles here. Mr. Das Mohammed, it's your evidence. You're to be answering questions on.
Okay, sorry. I think
AG
sorry.
sorry,
Okay,
Mr.
fair enough,
Chairman.
yeah.
I think I keep getting the same question and I keep answering the same way. So can we move on to the next question, maybe?
Well, I guess then, do you see that there was also Tip Top Lines, that's 2,500 square feet that moved in 2016? Is it possible you've got the wrong premise ID here?
No, I looked at these yesterday, when I got the evidence. I looked at all of these. I sorted them, looked at them, and I went through the income and expense mailer for each one of those.
Okay. The only one I've relied upon for the subject is 1006A Mountain View, which you've indicated are exactly as I've reported them. Is that correct?
Yes, but I felt that was outside the it was outside the range of the subject is 5,500 square feet. You're using it's almost double there.
Well, one of them's 5,000 square feet at 950 and a 2014 construction, is it not?
You've also utilized Aaron, 1041 Aaron,
Can you
and
answer the question about Mountain View, please?
Yeah, let's stick with Mountain View right now, Mr.
okay,
Dustin.
sure. Mountain View is at $9.50 there.
For a 24, and that's built in 2014, correct?
Sure.
2-year lease?
Yeah.
When was the subject built?
I'm not sure when the premise was constructed.
Shouldn't you, as the assessor, know when the building was built?
We're doing the tenant, we're doing ARV, so
You
we're
don't think
not
that's
doing
a
realty.
relevant way?
Yeah.
That's the age of the building is relevant to determine the rent that it would achieve.
Again, we're getting outside the ambit of the rebuttal evidence. Those were all questions that were
Yep,
dealt with
appreciate it.
in this one. So please just
Fair
stick
enough.
with the evidence. Thank you.
Okay, I guess then those are my questions for that about this rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stephenson, any questions on the rebuttal?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Purvis, any questions on the rebuttal?
I have no questions. Thank you.
And I have no questions. Mr. Das Mohammed, summary. Do you have any?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Mr. Neufeld, any summary?
Yes, please. The assessor has taken these leases and he's gone through the mailer and used gross values. I've only been able to quickly identify 4, but the total of this building in 2019, mind you, but it wouldn't vary much. Would be making $1.58 total in line. And it does, we used face rates and they're using completely gross rates. We use net the targeted nets, which aren't even quite achieved, and he's using the gross rates. Again, the only one we relied on for this one specifically, he's got highlighted there at 950. My whole point, it's 5,000 square feet. It's built in 2014, and it matches the assessor's rent. He's final value of 1970s building, which he has indicated he didn't even know, and using what the market would be getting for 950. And of course, that's a 2-year lease, so that it can actually you do tend to pay a premium for the shorter values. I don't think any of this discredits any of my leases at all. I think the mailers are a very flawed concept. They are often improperly analyzed. And they are often wrong from the city, and this is no exception. I think the $7 rent is very applicable. Thank you.
Thank you. Then, having heard the evidence, we will conclude this matter. Mr. Neufeld, I believe that concludes your matters today. Thank you for your time and your presentations. You will receive the notification and letters from the board in short order. And if we can move to number 3 on the docket, please, at 495 Berry Street. And Mrs. Harlan, if you can please admit Mr. Story and affirm his evidence, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Story, would you please state your full name?
Yes, my name is Jared Story.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Story. Mr. Dus Mohammed, I believe, or if we could move to number 3 on the list, please. That's the street address of 495 Berry Street. If you can please introduce the property, identify it, and provide your evidence. I see as well that there is a request for confirmation, but we'll deal with that after the property has been, we've heard the evidence about the property, please.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Board Revision file number 24-4780. Roll year is 2025. Address is 495 Berry Street. Assessment ID is 3727. Subject has a premise area of 24,000 square feet. We're utilizing a base ARV of $6.17 per square foot, which equates to a base ARV of $148,080. We assess occupancy costs at $57,060, which yields a annual ARV of, annual rental value of $205,140. And I believe the applicant has expressed their intent to request confirmation, and therefore we too respectfully ask for confirmation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Story, have you any questions?
No questions, sir. Thank you.
And you are requesting confirmation, is that fair to say?
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Okay, great. Thank you. Then, Mr. Purvis, any questions on that?
No, I'm happy to accept the request of the applicant.
Mr. Stephenson, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, and I have no questions. Given your request, Mr. Story, we will conclude this matter and move on to the next matter. That is number 10 on the list, and that's the street address of 110 Sutherland. Mr. Dus Mohammed, if you could give us your evidence, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Board Revision file number 24-4743. Roll year is 2025. Address is 110 Sutherland Avenue. Business assessment ID is 54694. Subject has a premise area of 41,626 square feet. We're utilizing a base ARV of $6.50 per square foot, which equates to a base ARV of $270,569. We assess total occupancy costs at $97,405, which works out to a total annual rental value of $367,980. Again, I do believe the applicant is looking for confirmation, and therefore we too respectfully ask for confirmation. Thank you very much.
Mr. Story?
No questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. And is that correct? You will be seeking confirmation of this property?
Yes, indeed, we will, sir.
Okay, then, or of the ARV of this property, rather. Thank you. Mr. Stephenson, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Purvis?
I have no questions.
And I have no questions. And Mr. Story, unless there's anything to add to your request for confirmation, we can conclude this matter.
Wonderful. Nope, I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Then, having heard the evidence, we will conclude this matter. We have now heard all of the matters on the docket, and this hearing is adjourned. Thank you, Mr. Story and Mr. Dus Mohammed, for your presentations. You will be advised shortly of the decisions.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, thank you. All right, Mr. Chair, I'll go take us offline.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Just a moment, please.